Hi book friends, I'm Erin and this is Erin Go Read. Welcome to my fall TBR. So this will not be including my Victober books, which are sitting right here, this ridiculous pile of possibilities. I'm adding a whole bunch of other books, but this is like the last few days of September through November, even into December that I'm talking about here. These are the books that I'm looking at reading kind of over the next couple months over this fall season. This will also be including books that I'm going to be using for Book Trovert Bingo, which Audrey just announced, which is a really fun way to kind of end the year. I think it's like a 90-day or however many days. There was a certain amount of days that it like kind of starts and ends. I will link Audrey's video below so you can find out what I'm talking about. But she has a really fun bingo board with all these really great prompts to help you come up with books for that. So I won't be going over prompts or anything like that. This is just a bunch of books, including a little mini book haul and library haul. So Charlie and I just came back from the library, and I have a couple of graphic novels here. So I have The Golden Hour, which just feels very fall-like, by Nikki Smith. And this is a hard-hitting middle grade graphic novel. I couldn't think of the word middle grade for a second there. But this is a story of healing, friendship, self-discovery, and hope. Struggling with an anxiety after witnessing a harrowing incident of gun violence, Manuel Soto uses photography to cope. Then I have the first 3 volumes of Lumberjanes. I actually think I do have the first volume of this, but they had like the first, I don't know, 8 or something. And so I thought I would not be selfish and only pick up the first 3. Might see if I can get my niece Holly to read some of these. Speaking of my niece Holly, my niece Charlie and I were just at our local independent bookstore, Ruby's Books. Let's see. Plug for Ruby's Books. Ruby is a real dog. Unfortunately, she was not there today. And as we were there, I saw this woman with she had 2 other friends with her. So it was a group of 3 ladies, and she's taking a picture. They were taking a picture of her like in front of the bookshelf, in front of a book. And I was like, "Is that your book?" "It is." And she's like, "Do you want to buy it?" And I was like, "Well, sell it to me." And so I ended up buying Flip Turns by Catehrine Arguelles. And she personally signed it. And I said, I do have a 12-year-old, almost 13-year-old niece and named Holly. So she wrote, "To Holly, make a splash, Catehrine." And so I'm definitely going to have to read this before I give it to Holly. But also, I just thought it was perfect. First of all, it feels kind of fall-like, and it just perfectly matched the book that I went in there for. So I just recently finished A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, the first of the Monk and Robot books, and this is the second in that duology, A Prayer for the Crown Shy, a Monk and Robot book. And just, I love both of these covers so much.
Where is the robot?
The robot is, you know what? I don't see him on this cover. He was on the other cover. We can look at the other cover later if you want.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Charlie's sitting right there. Here. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Wait, hold on. Okay, say hi.
Hi.
She was very much in the Tag Tuesday video that I just filmed. So if you want more Charlie, tune in on Tuesday for the Tag Tuesday video, because she definitely makes her presence known.
TT?
Yeah.
After you're done with your video, can we talk about different kind of tag?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. We got all sorts of interruptions. I'm going to try to blaze through this. The other thing, I had no idea this was coming out. I was not planning on buying this. I just happened to see it. It caught my eye. Winners by FRederik Backman. Did you know that the new FRederik Backman book was out? This is the, what's the dang name of the thing? Don't tell me it's a book from Anxious People. Beartown. This is the 3rd book in the Beartown series. I don't know if it's meant to be a trilogy, but this guy is a chunker, way bigger than
And we saw a train.
We did see a train. But anyway, this guy's like 650 pages. So can you stop touching that?
Okay.
Try not to bump it. So between A Prayer for the Crown Belt and Winners, I feel like this is going to be my end of September plans. Now to the actual books that I meant to be talking about today. I have a big stack here of spooky, vibesy, whatever fall type books. Are you a fall person or an autumn person? Personally, I don't know anybody who really says autumn around me. I'm in Northern California. What do you say, fall or autumn, and where are you from? Okay, Now for the vibesy books. I have a very old copy of Edgar Allan Poe's Selected Writing, so I plan to read a little bit of this. This was my dad's old copy, old orange spine. This cost $2.95. So I don't plan to read all of this, but I will probably read selected writings from this book of selected writings.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know, friends.
So this is A Little Beast by Julie Demers and translated by Rhonda Mullins. This was going around BookTube several years ago. Picked it up. It was one of those, I bought it, BookTube made me buy it kind of thing. Haven't gotten to it yet because I was always kind of saving it for this time of year. I don't remember what it's about, so let's find out. It's 1944 and a little village in rural Quebec sits quietly beside an aging mountain and an angry river. The air tastes of kelp and the wind keeps knocking over the cross. Beside that river lives an 11-year-old girl. Her mother is very sad and her father has vanished because he can't bear to look at his own daughter. You see, this little girl has sprouted a beard. There's more, but I will stop there. Then I would love to get into a Sarah Waters book. I have Affinity and The Paying Guest, so one of these two. Not sure which. I think Affinity takes place in a prison, and The Paying Guest I think takes place in a like a house, like a hotel or something like that. Widowed Mrs. Ray and her unmarried daughter Frances find themselves obliged to take in tenants. The arrival of Lillian and Leonard Barber, a modern young couple of the emerging middle class, brings unsettling things with it. I'll leave it at that. Can you sit back, please? So one of these Sarah Waters, I've just wanted to get into like a long. I've just been feeling like I wanted to get like into like a deep, juicy book. This might be an audiobook. I have In the Woods by Tana French, the first in the Dublin Murders Club. Okay, then we have Stephen King's Misery. Watched the movie many, many years ago, and this was actually one of my late husband's favorite books. Kind of shortly before he died, for some reason, we were talking about books, and I asked him about some of his favorite books, and Misery came up. I'm pretty sure this was actually why I bought it at the time. I didn't get to read it with him, but I do plan to read it this year around Halloween. Then we have a book I picked up basically purely because it's a really cool edition. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. The Lottery by Shirley Jackson is my all-time favorite short story. I don't know if actually I've read any novels by her. So now we have The Haunting of Hill House. This might be like the scariest thing maybe I'm going to be reading, potentially. Another just kind of big, juicy book that I would like to get into in a series to get it to start is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I found this at Beers Books in Sacramento, and they had all three of them, but I held myself back. I'm like, let's just start with the first one, and if I really enjoy it, I can go back and get the other two. Then we have The Library of the Dead. This was kind of it was a monthly Barnes & Noble pick, and I was in there one time just killing time, and it caught my attention. I started reading it. Then Ropa dropped out of school to become a ghost talker, and she now speaks to Edinburgh's dead, carrying messages to those they left behind. A girl's got to earn a living, and it seems harmless enough until ... So I will stop that there, but this seems like kind of just like a nice, like fun, spooky, not necessarily scary Halloween-y book. Then I have Matrix by Lauren Groff. Not Halloween-y at all, but it does feel a little bit, autumnal. It's not very long, and so I might be looking more towards November for this book. So this says, Lauren Groff's Matrix is a defiant and timely exploration of the raw power of female creativity in a corrupted world. I don't remember what this is really about. I started this on audiobook. I think it's a nun, like a girl at a monastery. She leaves the monastery, go somewhere else, something like that. I started on audiobook, was really enjoying it, but I was having a hard time just paying attention to audiobooks at the time, so I stopped it and decided that I would like to enjoy that in physical form. And a retelling of A Turn of the Screw is Ruth Ware's The Turn of the Key. Apparently, this is actually Ruth Ware going horror. I actually just saw Mara at Books Like Whoa talking about this, and I'm not sure how horror-y it is, but it is definitely not my genre. So I'll be looking at this toward Halloween. I hate this cover. It's like this chrome cover. Like I get it, but I just don't like it. Just two more. Then we have the follow-up to Karen Slaughter's Pieces of Her, Girl Forgotten. Krista at Books and Jams has, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like 2 weeks during October I think it's 2 weeks, the middle 2 weeks of October, where she's doing like a book of the month club catch up kind of thing. So the idea is to really dedicate those 2 weeks to reading your book of the month club books that you have collected over time. And actually, speaking of which, I'm gonna grab another book real quick. Thinking about this as a pile of possibilities and not a solidified TBR, I also would love to get to Lincoln Toll's Amor Toll's Lincoln Highway, but this is another real big chunker, but it is a book of the month book. So just depending on how I'm feeling kind of mid-October, this might be something I get into as well. And also, like, historical fiction kind of feels autumny to me. See, that's the thing, is I say fall, like, as the noun, but if I'm going to use it as an adjective, I would say autumnal, or autumny, apparently. And then finally, I have Jen Campbell's short story collection, The Girl Who Ate Her Brothers, and Other Gruesome Tales, illustrated by Adam D'Souza. And this is just a beautifully made book. They're amazing. I just love like the kind of muted color palette in here. So there's the colored print, the colored pictures, and then there's black and white drawings as well. And so this will be just a fun one to dip in and out of throughout the month. Charlie's happy because I'm done. I would hold up those books, but it's literally 3 piles, so that's not going to actually happen. So I would love... Shh. 1, 2, 3. You're right. So, have you read any of these books? Are you looking forward, or do you have any of these books on your TBR? Do you have any particular type of book that you feel like you like to read during this time of year, whether it is like a booktube centered thing or just a type of book? Like during fall, I like to read this type of books. I'd love to know. Thank you for watching. See you around the tubes.